Hey, what's up, YouTube? Welcome to Play It Painted Live. Hope you guys are having a fantastic Wednesday evening. Here we go with another one of these, and tonight we're going to be painting some D&D dragon stuff. I'm just going to open up the live chat right now. So let's see how we're doing. And yeah, we'll get into it because this is going to be kind of a fun, I think. Because this is a commission project, but it's a fun one. It's pretty good, pretty good. Let's go to YouTube. And I'm gonna eat some cookies, so you're just gonna have to pardon me for a sec, because I'm gonna have an Oreo cookie. Okay, I can mute my microphone, but hold on. In fact, let me do that. Let's just be polite. Okay, hopefully that didn't take too long for me to eat this cookie. The stream status is bad now. But we're gonna work on some details on this red dragon. It's pretty.
But we're gonna work on some details on this red dragon. It's pretty. But we're gonna work on red dragon.
Whoa. There we go. And we're gonna go to live. Jeebus, stop. Okay, there we go. Jeebus, sorry about that. Yeah, we're gonna do details on this red dragon, and I also have this big old silver dragon. And they've been sealed up and things along the way. I'm probably just gonna pop this guy. In fact, I will. I'll just pop him off here so that he's easier to paint on camera. You guys can see a little bit more of what's going on. So first things first, I've got to sort of reprime them. It's just sort of I need to do a light base coat on them to get them back to what we would call a nice blank painting palette, right? So we're going to use a silver gray here to do that. And yeah, large subjects tonight, so hopefully we'll have some people joining us here in a few. It's been a very interesting day for me, hobby-wise, work, life, that whole deal. Whoop. So we're going to get some of this stuff going. And we're going to get, I want to use my Raphael 404. Such a good brush. Love the Raphael. Need to take better care of it. But it's just great for detail work, this kind of stuff. Just built for this kind of stuff. So I'm using a light gray instead of a white. It's going to give me good coverage here. And this is one of those things, again, with red, less is more. So let's see, got a bit of a wing here in the way, but I'm gonna paint that gray undercoat for the eye there and here. Okay. Then I'm also gonna paint. Just gonna paint the teeth because the red on the tongue is fine. So I really just want to undercoat the teeth so that we can bring the details of the teeth out. This model is smaller than I thought it would be. There we go. And then here, I'm going to paint these. These horns here are eventually going to be like a bone color. So I'll paint those. And you can see, you know, the bulk of this model has been toned and shaded in with the primary color red. So I want to get this undercoat detail stuff done on both models first, and then I'll come back. I'll circle back to this red one and finish off the red one. Okay, we're gonna finish the red one, and we're gonna paint the silver one as well. They're fun. They're fun little dragons. And dragons are one of those models that are, I think, people paint for leisure most of the time, right? It's fun to do a nice big model like this. It's got, you know, it's got a really nice general tone to it. In other words, you're going to paint, you know, the dragon's pretty much going to be one, maybe a couple of different colors. In this case, it's a red, but we're doing like several tones within red. There you go. And then let's do, whoa. These are just way too, they're just big. The wings are flopping everywhere and kind of being a nuisance here, if I'm being honest with you. But hey, it's okay. It's a commission job. What do you want? So painting in these eyes here. I'm going to paint the entirety of the mouth gray on this one so that we can get all the colors back in, because as you can see, this dragon was all kind of sprayed silver and then detailed in with a greenish hue. And also the horns, right? So we have that. So it's weird with silver dragons. It just seems weird to have these like organic parts that are mixed in with, you know, with these bright silver metallic colors. It's just weird. Like, where does this, for example, this bone that's sticking out of the side of the head here, how do you naturally transition from silver, which just isn't a natural occurring color biologically? How do you transition from that to like a natural bone or horn color? Hey, what's up, Nelson? This is for a game that um, there's a local designer. I think he's kickstarting his board game. It's some D&D-esque board game, and he just hired me to paint a couple of his dragons for him. So that is what we're working on. What are you up to, my friend? Okay. I think I'm gonna leave the other horns kind of that silver color and just go with those horns as being the, the organic bits. So we're gonna do that. Maybe little claws. So yeah, if you're just joining us, welcome to Play It Painted Live. Let us know what you're painting or what you should be painting. Tonight we're painting up some dragons for an unknown game. It looks, I don't know anything about this game. The creator just kind of found me, was referred to me by our LGS, and very much just at home. You see, yeah, I know. We're gonna talk about me painting GW tonight because yes, it did actually happen. Am I proud of it? No, I got suckered into it. I'm gonna hold on one sec. We are gonna talk about this. Okay, we're gonna suss this out. All right. Okay. I think that's it as far as organic bits. I'm gonna let that dry for a second, in fact, and I'm gonna message somebody right now while all this is going on. Oh, cool! I'm getting some train. Okay. Hold on. Let's see. Okay. All right. Here we go. So anyway, yes, true. I did paint GW and I did play a game of GW. It's true. I was hornswoggled. I was there's a little bit I was misled, I'll say that. So I was at the shop. I was at RLGS Comic Quest on Sunday, right? And minding my own business, playing some Malifaux, because that's what I like to do these days. Playing some Malifaux at the shop, and one of the store staff comes back there. One of the store staff comes back there, and she says, "Oh, we need your help to paint this game, this GW game." Hold on, I'm gonna tell her. Okay, so she comes back and she says, "We need your help to paint this game, whatever." Right? And I was like, "What game?" She's like, "Yeah, can you come when you have a minute? Can you please come and look at this game?" So I go up to the front. Sure enough, this GW game, and I'm like, "What the hell is this?" And I just sort of like cocked my head sideways and was like, "Okay, we'll talk in a minute," right? Because I'm trying to figure out like, okay, where's this coming from? Should I just say no? that old biscuit, right? So so I go back. So I'm back and I'm playing my game, and here she comes again. Oh, and she throws Don's name into this conversation. Okay, Don is the owner of the LGS. Don really wants to know. Don really wants to know if if you're going to be around to help with this kind of thing. And here's the thing, okay? I've been going to that store for like 20 years at least. Like I've been going to Comic Quest for at least 20 years. That's crazy. Like since I moved down to Orange County, and always had a good relationship with Don. He is super super nice to me. He treats me very well. Some of you guys don't even know this, but he gives me like free product and stuff. Like, hey, I just want you to try this out. I want you to try this out and know if um, you know if it's good. Like painting supplies, that kind of stuff, miniatures. Hey, Octave, I don't need these miniatures anymore. I can't sell them. The packaging is kind of messed up. Do you have a use for them? So in other words, he's always been super good to me. And I make it as a rule, when you're super good to me like that, I'm super good to you. That's just how it's going to be. And Don has always been super 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 good to me. And so I make it a rule to not say no to Don. I don't. I'm loyal to people who are super loyal to me. Those of you, my friends, Nelson, you know that, right? Like I do that. If you're super loyal to me, and I know Nelson, you're also the same. You treat people that way. I make it a habit not to say no to Don, even when it's stuff that I don't necessarily want to do. Like before, like sometimes I have been like he's been like, hey, can you help me? Can you help me work something out with this game or something like that, right? So I've done that. Righteous brother. So I've done that before, and she's bugging me like, hey, is when is a good time for us to do this? Like I'm looking at my work calendar while I'm trying to play a game of Malifaux to tell them, okay, we're gonna do this thing. All the while under the impression, I'm telling her, I'm blaming her right now. So all the while under the guise that, hey, this is Don, asking me to do something. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I will do a favor to Don. Yes, I have commission work in front of me. Yes, it's been very, very busy month, very good month for me on the commission painting side. And I don't want to take a break from it, right? Because I want to go back and paint my own Malifaux stuff. So I'm like, okay, we'll do it. So we work out a day for me to go do it, right? And so we're painting all this stuff. Actually, Nelson, if you go to the Comic Quest, if you go to their Facebook page, it's a video on their page. You can actually watch it. You can watch us playing. And so so I get there to paint. So I build these models. It's like 30 models. I build the models in like a night and a half, prime everything, get it all ready. I paint all the monsters. Like I paint like 15 of the models, like 12 of the monsters and like 3 of the smaller Buffmans, which is like all the GW stuff, right? It's all Buffmans. So I paint all of that up and I get down there and we're doing some more painting. It's me and 2 of the staff and we're doing some painting and it was like, hey, so like what suckered you into this? Was it the fact that we're gonna play some Malifaux or whatever? And I'm like, no, I told them, I was like, no, I don't say, I make it a habit not to say no to Don, right? Because like I said, I'm very loyal to Don. And they're like, oh well, it kind of comes out that it wasn't his idea. it was yeah. Well, you're safe, Nelson, because I'm immune to GW hype, like more than immune. Like, if you guys know that I don't like Star Wars, one of the other things I don't like less and definitely less than Star Wars is GW. So that's like, those are very easy to get me to rant on those two topics. You can get me to rant about Star Wars. You can get me to rant about GW. So anyways, so I find out that it's not Don that asked me to do this. It's these staff who are, they're my friends, right? Okay, whatever. I'm not that mad about it if I'm being totally serious. It's just I felt a little bait and switched by it because I was like, this is like, yeah, I'm gonna do this for Don. That's cool. I'll take one for the team, right? Anyways, I find out it was their idea. I'm like, ah, shit. Okay, whatever. So we paint the minis, and it's all Buffmans, right? And the fact that it's Buffmans and you paint. I was actually gonna stream painting Buffmans with contrast paints because it's stupidly easy to paint with contrast. Paint Buffmans with contrast paints. So we do that, and meanwhile, I should back up a little bit because I brought some of this stuff home to build in Prime and paint some of it, right? And I pull up some playthroughs, and I'm like, okay, because I typically do that. If I'm painting anything, whatever it is, I like to kind of have the game, like explanations, reviews of the game, and that kind of stuff streaming in the background, because it helps me sort of absorb the whole thing at the same time. Like I'm painting the miniature and I'm absorbing the game. Like a lot of times, if I'm not streaming, when I'm painting Malifaux, then I have I have a Malifaux podcast on. If I'm painting Guild Ball, I have a Guild Ball podcast on, or I have a Guild Ball match report on, or something like that. That's just like, I like to do that. I like to be surrounded by stuff. So I've got this stuff on about this game, and I'm watching like Guerrilla Miniatures games, like their take on it, and watching the playthroughs and that kind of stuff. And I'm like, this is not good. Like when I heard the mechanics for the game, like this is like third grader mechanics games. You walk up. The game is literally, you walk up, you punch a guy, and then you might walk twice, you might punch twice, you might wait. Like that's the game. That's all you do in this game. And that's pretty much, in my opinion, that sums up like 90% of GW games. Is you walk up to something, you decide to punch, and there is no other choice. That's how you interact with models in all those games. That's how all the transactions are in the GW games, is you walk up and you punch something. The most notable exception to that is Blood Bowl, where you can throw a ball and like pick up a ball, hand off a ball, that kind of stuff. Anyways, that's like a GW game in essence. You walk up, decide to punch something, and then you could decide not to punch something, but then you're not playing the game, right? That would be like saying that there are 4 different moves in bowling. Bowling is, you throw the ball down the lane. Yes, you can be really, really good at throwing the ball down the lane, but at the end of the day, all you're doing is you're throwing a ball down the lane. And any other answer than I'm doing more than just throwing the ball down the lane is kind of a lie. Let's be real. You're throwing a ball down the lane. Similarly with GW games, if you're not walking up to something and punching it, you're not really playing the GW game. And that's especially true of this game, Warcry, right? This is the easiest game on planet Earth. This is, you walk up to something, am I in range? Yeah. Okay, punch it. Okay. And that's the game. You just punch each other in the face until until you get to pick up somebody's model and remove it from the board. And there isn't anything more depressing than that. As far as, and you know what makes me so shocked about GW and yes, Star Wars is like, it's like Star Wars, right? Like every time you have you put a stormtrooper up on a trailer, there's just going to be people that just clap, it's stormtrooper, oh god, yeah. And you put up like the Millennium Falcon, oh yeah, there it is again, it's the Millennium Falcon. Been 40 fucking years, and you're like, yeah, there it is. There's the Millennium Falcon again. And it's either, you have the choice of, in the case of Star Wars, you have the choice of it being either nothing new or everything bad. Those are your choices. Okay? I feel the exact same way about GW. It blows my effing mind that there are still hardcore fanboys. They're like, did you see the sculpts for Warcry? Oh my god, yeah. Oh god, there it is. Because it's the same goddamn thing. 40 years later, it's a buff guy. That's what you get. There's a buff guy. There's another buff guy. That guy has spikes. That guy has skulls. That's it. That's like the same fucking aesthetic for 40 years. And people still get hyped like, oh man. And to me, while the sculpts are aesthetically well done, right? They're technically very good. They're completely forgettable. Okay? They're completely forgettable. Like, yeah, that's a good-looking buff man barbarian guy with an axe. And it looks as generic as this dragon looks. Is this a good dragon? Yeah, of course. It's a cool dragon. But it's a dragon. There's nothing. Here's GW, right? It's a dragon, and oh god, there it is, the dragon. It's great. And you have to see something that is different than that for me to be like, okay, that's a dragon. Okay, it's really well done. Am I going to remember it? No. Conversely, I'm going to have a dragon like this, right? And I'm going to remember this shit. And yeah, there's problems here. It should have been sealed up or whatever. I painted this for my kid. But you're going to see this type of design and you're going to be like, shit, I remember that dragon. That's the Earth Dragon from Rising Sun. Holy shit, I remember. Now, technically, this dragon isn't technically any better than this one. But this one is what everybody thinks of when they think dragon. This is what everybody sees. And therefore, this is super forgettable. And this isn't. To me, that's the problem with GW. GW sculpts. Like, okay. And there's no character to them. They're well executed. But how can something... It's just shocking that something can be so well executed and then just bad at the same time, because there's nothing to it. There's almost, oh, that's the wrong color, but there's like no merit to it, if that makes any sense. It's just another GW buff guy, and similarly, Warcry is just another GW game. In their defense, they know exactly what they're doing. People go, oh, shouldn't GW be making these smarter games? They're a big company with a lot of money. I'm like, no, they're smart. They have a marketing team. The marketing team understands that the customers, the best customers, aren't the smart customers. They're the dumb ones. The ones that will just keep clapping like seals. Oh God, there it is. Oh, another Space Marine. Oh God, so cool, so cool. I have to say I like this one so that I feel like I belong. That kind of customer. That's shitty, right? That's a shitty indictment that I'm making here. But am I wrong? I mean, that's the kind of customers we want as manufacturers of product. There are the discerning customers, but discerning customers are very fickle. They're hard to please. If you manage to grow your hype to a point where you have mindless seals clapping for the next time you take a shit on a piece of paper and call it the latest and greatest, well, that's where the money's at, right? That's where you're going to do well. And that's kind of what GW is after. Now, I will say this, right? The one big positive I saw that came from playing that demo was that, the store staff, who really doesn't play miniature games, she got a really cool, just kind of very simple tutorial on how to move a miniature, how to get within range, and how to perform attacks. Like, that's not bad, right? And for somebody that's not into the hobby, that's enough for them. That's enough for them. It's like when you go to the fair, the Ren fair, and you go to that booth that has like the bow and arrow, and you're gonna be a fucking archer for 15 minutes, and you be like, just like Legolas, bruh, just like Legolas, and you pull that shit back, and you hit the fucking thing of hay, and that's good enough for you, right? You're not gonna stop and become a professional archer. You're not gonna suddenly become Ted Nugent and like invest in bow hunting equipment and all this kind of stuff. That's not what you're there for. And that's what GW is kind of. They're smart because that's where the new money is. That's where the new customers are. And if they manage to hook people on this formula of move, fight, attack, die, which is really the formula for all GW games, then more power to them, because that means that they get that customer that's just going to clap like a seal every time. Oh, there it is. Oh, I just saw another Space Marine. Oh, God. Here we go. 2020 is going to be a year for more Space Marines. Yeah. So, anyway, that's what we're looking at. I need yellow here. But yeah, there is no chance, 0% chance that I'm remotely interested in Warcry. All right. This thing, on the other hand, is fairly cool. Okay. Where's my dope armor wash? Armor wash is like the miracle thing. I don't know if you knew that, but you take some armor wash. P3 armor wash is fantastic. You take some armor wash, you add some airbrush thinner to it. You make it as thin as humanly possible. And you just run it on stuff, and it becomes this awesome, like, little liner. Again, this is our trick for doing stuff like stormtroopers and that kind of stuff, right? Where you just want to have a liner. You're not trying to shade anything. You're just trying to get a little bit of color in those crevices. So in this case, I'm going to get a little bit in between the teeth, and that's it. And those teeth are so small that they're not coming in. But like, I can run some here, right? And that helps a little bit. That helps give the face a little bit of detail. It's not great, but it's a little bit of detail, right? Okay. But I will say, yeah, like I was saying, though, I mean, you got some, for a non-miniature player, you got some fundamental of just moving models around, attacking, checking to see how many dice you need to roll, checking to see defense and that kind of stuff. All right. You might get... See, she's trying to defend this. All right. Okay. So, yeah. So yeah, that's it's safe, right? It's not going to end up. That's not going to end up on the channel. Whoa. So there's another half to this little deal that we worked out, right? The other half of the deal is now the next thing that we're going to do is I'm going to teach her Malifaux, and this is the challenging part for me, right? Because again, this is brand new to miniature games, and Malifaux is, in my opinion, is as complicated as it gets as far as miniature games are concerned. You're really hard pressed to find anything that is gonna match Malifaux in terms of complexity, in terms of the depth of the rules, the interactions, that kind of thing, right? Moving and attacking is the easiest thing you can do in Malifaux, and often it's the wrong thing to do. So that's the other thing, right? If you were just born and raised on GW games and all you ever did in your wargaming career was walk up to things and punch them to solve your problems, Malifaux is going to be this rude awakening that, hey, you're not that good a miniature gamer when it comes down to it, because there's a lot more to that game than walking up and punching something. So yeah. So we're going to see how well our new student of miniature games, how well she can handle a game as complicated as Malifaux. And for me, it's going to be a bit of a test too, because like, how do you teach someone all the intricacies of Malifaux? And I think the answer is you don't, right? I think that's the short answer. I think if the player wants to go in and just wants to flip some cards and watch stuff blow up, then you let them flip some cards and you watch stuff blow up, right? You let them flip cards, you let them cheat stuff in, win some duels, blow up stuff, and be happy with life. That's really that's the short answer of it. You're not gonna walk away with this like, this new Malifaux savant, this newly minted Malifaux savant that's gonna come in and pick the weakest crew out there and just suddenly start wrecking everybody around her. Although I will say that actually did happen in my career, kind of helping people out. That did happen in one time. This was at a Kingdom Con some years ago, and we were playing Super Dungeon Explorer, and this young lady comes up to me, and I teach her Super Dungeon Explorer. We play some Super Dungeon Explorer. She's really bright. She gets into it. She's like, "Oh, this is really cool." And what else? What other games are you guys playing? And I'm like, "Well, we're going to be playing some Relic Knights later tonight, right? That's what we're going to be doing." And I don't remember what happened. I don't remember the rest of what happened because I did get pretty drunk after that. So I did get pretty drunk after that, and then but she ended up playing Relic Knights, and she ended up being really good at it. I mean, really good, right? She picked it up very naturally. I forget, she's like natively more of like a video game player, that kind of thing. And Relic Knights is sort of an anti-wargaming game. It has a lot of concepts similar to Malifaux that, just running up and fighting somebody is not going to win you a game like that. You've got to cap objectives. You want to spend time foiling the other guy rather than trying to kill them outright, because it's too much. There's too much invested in trying to kill a person. And she understood those concepts early on when we were teaching her the game. And so when she went on to play Relic Knights, she was actually super good at it. So let's see. Geez, still getting message. His name was Cookie. Okay. Anyway, so that was the exception rather than the rule, and she ended up being really good at the game. We played a bunch more games after, after Kingdom Con, and even today, we still keep up. We haven't gamed with her in a while. For those of you who watched this channel, you might remember Josie. We played what's that? What was that game? Shadows of Brimstone. We played Shadows of Brimstone with her. And she would hop on and get for that. Because I can see that we're losing viewers, and I don't think it's because my story is boring. I think it's because the stream isn't great right now. But I'm going to go ahead and we're going to stipple in some color. Okay. Yeah, the stream froze. Sorry about that. And let's knock out this guy while we can. It's such a subtle really, red is so subtle if you're going to do it right. You really don't want to splotch red around. Right? You have to be fairly delicate with it. So again, with the skeleton horde here. So I think you guys might have missed most of the rest of that explanation of what's going on. And, I'm kind of this is kind of be a demo challenge for me to see if, you can teach a novice how to play a really complicated game like Malifaux. But it's fun. It's going to be I'm fairly excited. I think it's going to be cool. I hope it works. That's all I care. Like, I hope that, it at least appears to be a game. Okay, so there's that. I'll let that dry for a second more. Let's do dark. Dark Goth might be okay there. Actually, we might as well. Let's move on to the other bigger dragon for right now. Right. So I'm going to paint inside of the mouth here. Cool. And I want to paint the tongue. I'm going to paint the tongue with the blood red contrast paint, because why not? Oh, geez. Should I actually? Get all that up in there. Get all the details in. So up next, as far as painting is concerned, once these are done, I'm going to move on to Andrew's Lady Justice crew. Then I have to build those and paint those. And then I'm trying to clear up, trying to keep my plate relatively clear for when the Gen Con stuff comes back, so I can paint some Colette, because I would love to be able to field my new Colette crew, not tomorrow, but the following Thursday. That would be pretty cool. Oh, you know what? Let's do red eyes on this dragon. Why not? Let's give this dragon a little bit of character here. Give it red eyes. Cool. Pretty fun. Pretty damn fun. Let's do some, oops, not Dark Oath. We're going to do Skeleton Horde on the horns. So yeah. Being able, if I can get Lady J painted by next week and get that new Colette crew in and paint it, that would be pretty sexy. I'm thinking of maybe just in the interest of time, just paint Colette for now. M3E stuff on their store won't be starting packing. Well, no, that's the thing. It's I placed an order online, but the Colette crew, I'm having Cody pick up while he's there. So that's coming back with him over the weekend. So yes, I know that the Mei Feng and the stuff that I ordered online, that's going to take a while to come back. But yeah, but Colette should be back soon. And that was like the whole reason why I was like, you know, you don't have to buy me anything else over there. Just bring me back that, because I want that back sooner rather than later. I want to be able to play that crew. That crew is, I feel like I'm only tip of the iceberg with that crew. Like I've just barely started to learn the tactics with that crew, and just barely started to play around with some of the higher combos that they're allowed. Because I've already seen a few minor things that are amazing with that crew, right? So, for example, the large steam arachnids, Andrew was the unfortunate victim of that, but they synergize stupidly well with the crew, right? Because if you do Presto Changeo on Colette herself, like if you have Colette walk up to within melee range of an enemy model that's already activated, right? So you have her walk up there, then you have her do Presto Changeo on herself, so that she drops a scheme marker in base contact with herself, and then swaps places with a steam arachnid. And then later in the turn, the steam arachnid goes. Now the steam arachnid has a scheme marker that it can discard for plus on all duels, and it has a target that's already activated in front of it. That's pretty amazing, right? And if you stagger it out well enough, you have Colette bury on her activation. You have her bury one threat, and then you have and then you get to the enemy the soft part of the enemy line with the steam arachnid and just shred something that wasn't supposed to be hit, right? Like you get in, like if you're playing against Yan Lo, you bury Azamu with Colette, presto changeo to bring the steam arachnid closer to Chiaki and have a scheme marker there. Then later in the turn, you have then later in the turn, the steam arachnid's now getting plus on all flips and can now go. It has a really good target. It can charge without having to deal with a tank like Izamu. So that's like one interaction I found, and I suspect there's a lot more where that came from. So it's exciting, right? Because I'm going to be able to play around with a lot of different crew options. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. It's good stuff, though. Man, this gray takes forever to dry. Forever. Let's give that a minute to dry. But there's cool stuff like that. I think the way I think I've unlocked or just started to unlock really the more precision level work with Colette. And that's going to be some terrifying shit when I think when I really unlock it. And you start to troubleshoot on the board. Like, here's how I get, to point A to point B, score, and score a scheme and a strat and at the same in the last activation of the game. That's really where I think Colette is going to be super strong. So I want to work towards, getting that to a good place. Let's paint the inside of the mouth kind of like a pink purple deal. You guys have any questions or comments or anything? Oh, we're just chilling out here. I was tempted to get that Molly's that alt Molly crew because the sculpt looks amazing. But I figure, somebody will get it and ask me to paint it. That's all I really need. I don't need that crew. I just want to paint it. Somebody will just get it and ask me to paint it, and then I'm down. Then it's cool. Okay. What else can I do while I'm waiting for stuff to dry here? Let's go back to this guy for a minute. Yeah, I'm tempted to do a little bit of a brighter highlight, but I don't see why I need to do that. I should probably do some highlight on the underbelly. And instead of doing orange, I'm going to do more of an ochre color. And just do I'm going to do an ochre glaze actually and make it super thin. Because I don't want it to overpower the look of the dragon. I want to be able to see the underbelly scales as being a lighter, warmer color, but I don't necessarily want to take away from the strong red theme of the dragon. So I'm just gonna kind of freehand highlight and see if I can get this to to blend. Right, so I'm not really trying to overpower anything, but I want to have nice edges being picked up in the underscale here. Right, it's a really subtle look, but I think it'll be quite good. So you can see where I'm just highlighting the individual ventral scales. It should be pretty good. Like I said, I'm not trying for like a true like yellow underbelly, but I want you to get the idea that there might be there might be an instance where this dragon, were it lighter, would have a truly yellow like set of ventral scales. I just remembered something. On Sunday, if I'm free to paint another set of crews, I need to paint Andrew's Lady Justice stuff, so it's probably going to have to be after that. So yeah, it may have to be later in the following week, because I gotta paint Andrew's Lady J. Then we can paint some more Harry Potter stuff. I do expect Lady J's a pretty simple crew to paint, so I should paint through that fairly quick. But realistically, we're talking a week from tomorrow as far as when I could start Harry Potter. You can see that. Okay, cool. Following weekend. Okay. Yeah, it's gonna be good to just keep the commission train going, but I'm gonna have to keep everybody in a fairly healthy rotation, and no more distractions like, hey, help us paint this thing. Again, I don't regret doing it, but it's good for a laugh, right? Oh, cool. We're almost halfway through. Okay, cool. I think these ventral scales will actually need their own shade coat, because that's a lot. It's a lot of ventral scale there. And I said I wasn't going to try to make them all yellow, but they are looking pretty orange right now. So I'm going to have to hit them with something kind of umber color. And then just sort of blend it in with the rest of the dragon. There we go. Whoa. Little nuts on that ventral scale there. Okay. So there's that. It's starting to look more. We're starting to get all those details coming in. Let's do yellow eyes. We're going to do yellow eyes, and then we're going to do snake bite. Oh, eyes are yellow already. Now we're going to do snake bite leather on the ventral scales. And we're going to do a little bit of snake bite leather on the horns, just to kind of bring that back. Put here on the ventral scales. See, we're going to give this a rich brown color there. Whoa. So, man, Gen Con sounds so good this weekend. That would have been so nice. I'm super jelly of people that made it to Gen Con this weekend. Hope you're having fun, though, if you're out there this weekend. Because that's a great convention. Super fun. One of my favorites. And we're going to do this on the horns. Okay. So we're giving the horns a little bit of a nice, more natural look. And then finally, really, we need like an off-white color. Ugh. To highlight on the horns. There's just so many games that we're playing right now. It's a bit of a problem. I want to play some Aristea still. I want to play Guild Ball still, but I also really love Malifaux at the moment. So I guess our obsession is going to be there for the time being. Who's playing tomorrow night? If any of you guys in the chat, let me know if you're playing. I want to get some game in. I actually have a Guild Ball game scheduled like 2 weeks from now. It should be fun. All right. Cool. Now for this rock, I think what we're going to do is we're going to do that Basilicanum Gray, and then we'll do Basilicanum Gray. Basilicanum Gray, and then we'll do Griff Charger Gray on it. And then we'll base the whole thing in pure black, right? So Basilicanum Gray going down first, nice heavy coat here to get the detail. Now, oddly enough, the detail on this rock is a lot better than the larger sculpt. You know, technically it's a good dragon sculpt. You know, the design itself is good. It's a little, like I said about the GW stuff, it's a little forgettable, but it's okay. Let's get some pure black down and kind of cap this guy off, and then we'll go move on to the silver one. I'll seal them up. Hopefully the client's good with these. I can deliver these tomorrow. Keep stockpiling a little cash for more Malifaux stuff. Actually, really just to pay for my Gen Con stuff. By the way, do we know when can we start ordering Alt Valkyrie for Aristea? I need to get on that. Oh, I can? Okay, cool. And you can just get her separate. So I think that's all I'm going to get. It's just Alt Valkyrie. Cool. So you down for some Malifaux tomorrow? Thomas might be around. He was saying he might be around in the earlier in the afternoon to try to play something, and he didn't seem to be very picky about what he wanted to play. So, you know, even though I believe he may be moving soon or something, still might be fun. Teach him the game. Okay, let that dry. Let's go back with this guy. Not quite getting. You'll pack just in case. Oh, I see. Well, in that case, it might be like me and Kevin. See if Matt is around. Because obviously Cody's gone. He's at Gen Con. I don't know who else would be around. Oh, Gabe is coming. So Gabe will be there tomorrow. And I'm not sure. Gabe might be down for Aristea or Malifaux. He's bringing me Aristea terrain, and he's bringing me Malifaux terrain. So that's cool. That's a nice thing that can happen tomorrow. That bright pink mouth isn't great. But you can see, like, the base on this one isn't nearly as good as the other one. Let's get the base here. See, it's got like it doesn't have much definition to it. It just kind of bleh. Kind of just all runs together there. That's not that great. I'm gonna try to make it work. And I wonder if anyone's going to be around. Oh, I'll see if Blade Wolf is going to be around Friday. And then I could maybe record a game with Blade Wolf on Friday. I need to record, like, really try to figure out how to record Malifaux games. It's like the hardest thing. I think that it is one of the hardest games to actually, like, do battle reports for. It's too hard. Okay, there's that. Yeah, that sculpting on that base sucks. Let's get this. So I've been itching to play something organized play. You know, either Aristea or Malifaux. Hell, I played in a Guild Ball tournament if I could find one. I'm really kind of fading this bone color back. Just blending it backwards there. Get a little detail here in the bottom of the horns. Now I can say I actually painted a silver dragon. I've never done that before. Not sure why that just peeled right off there. That's not good. Okay. So the following week, I don't really know what kind of gaming I can do because my wife is going back to work. So, so I'm going to have to pick up some slack with the kids, and that can affect my gaming here. We'll have to see how it goes. You know, if I can only do, every other Thursday, just every Thursday, stuff like that. Okay. All right. There we go. Fun little. Not bad, right? Not a bad commission there on Mr. Dragon guy or whatever this is. I'm wondering if I should paint this to be like grass. Should I paint that base to be? It just has no interest. Maybe I paint it. Paint it more earth, like so it's just like rocks in soil. Maybe I do that. Paint it more earthy, and then blend some greens in it. You know, almost like this is gonna give the illusion that this is a much larger scenic base that it's on, right? This is supposed to be a rather large dragon. Right, so I can do this. Oop. Okay. Ugh. It's like mucky. Okay, let that dry. I don't think there's nothing left to do on this one. That one looks pretty good. The red dragon looks pretty good. Just letting that finish up drying. And then let's do, this guy's looking pretty good too. Actually, what I want to do is, let's get a little bit of shadow up, all up in there. There you go. Let's make that a lot darker. Then I'm gonna seal this guy. In fact, I'm gonna put him back on his cork base. So I can paint the base black. I know he's way too close to the camera right now, but I'm gonna paint the base black and I'll mix some green into the top part of that base, make it look a little more scenic. Yeah, we're doing pretty well. Okay. Cool. All right. All right. Any other comments or anything? Comments, questions, threats while I'm wrapping this guy up. I'm gonna do some deep green on him and get that all mixed in. Don't need much. Yeah, and then it's back to Malifaux, painting some Lady J crew. There's some cool, Andrew picked up some cool, what set is that? He picked up a Pale Rider, which is going to be super fun to paint. I think the Pale Rider will be kind of a separate thing off to the side. I'll paint Lady J, the Death Marshals, and the, what are those things called? They're like the, Domadores, the Cadavere, the whatever, the Day of the Dead people, basically. Those guys are super cool. All right, so I'm gonna mix a little green to this base. All right. Woo! Fairly bright green going down there. I'm gonna feather it out, like blend it in with this, so you get a more natural looking base, right? But now it's got, so now it's got like grass and that kind of stuff in it without having to flock it or do anything like that. I hate flocked bases. I think they're terrible. I think they look awful. Sometimes I have to do it. Like I had that, I had a Guild Ball customer that wanted me to paint Order. And I was like, oh yeah, Order's super cool. But then they wanted flocked bases. And I was like, ugh. I did it. You know, we survived it. Well, it's just personal preference. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. It's like soupy. There may still be too much green on the middle part. So let's just let's blend it out a little bit more. There you go. It's just not sculpted well. It's not well defined. Does not look great. Now the whole thing is kind of an olive green color. And it just won't dry for some reason. Right? Oops, sorry about knocking the camera there. Here's the problem. It's on this stand and it's too... fade this down. I think this design choice was like a stability choice. Like shoving it, like making a base and then shoving the feet in super deep like that. Just odd. All right. I think I'm just gonna seal these bad boys up. I think we're ready to do that. We're just about there. So let's go ahead and do that. And then we can call it a somewhat early evening. And I'll probably stamp some bases and just, speaking of which, did I? Well, yeah, we're just gonna do that. Let me close this up. And get a quick seal on these minis. I didn't do the best job of cleaning out this airbrush when I used it earlier today. Shoot that out real quick. All right. And now on to some satin varnish. Yeah, I hope people show up for some games tomorrow because that's always going to be fun. Hopefully Gabe shows. Wow, this stuff is refusing to dry tonight. I wonder why. Why is it like refusing to dry? It's weird. Okay. Yeah, that's where we're at. I'll let those dry, shoot some photos tomorrow, see if the client wants to pick them up tomorrow. But yeah, I think they're cool. I don't know. I like how this, you see the red on the wings? See how it's actually highlighted? That's actually a pretty hard, like, that's really subtle to get. And on the belly scales, like the red one technically is the better painted one. The silver one looks a little more striking. So we'll see how. Hopefully the client likes that. It's always tough with new clients because they don't, you're never 100% sure where they're going to be. What is going on here? Okay. So the red dragon is actually the better painted one. Silver one, definitely very striking. But yeah, they're done. We're just gonna let them dry, and then we're gonna call it. So nice quiet evening. Once again, want to thank everyone for watching. Have a good night, guys, and hopefully some folks are around to play some Halfo tomorrow because I want to play. Good night, everybody.